feel like Clemson's almost like a division team? You see them so much.
Yeah, they should be. They just pencil them in. They're a great team, and every year we know that they're going to take care of their business. And I think they've been in the playoffs every year that I've been here, and we've played them every year. So, you know, we have a ton of respect for them, and we're, like you said, pretty much rivals, like division rivals at this point.
You were with the team in that 15, game, but not obviously out there, I guess, where you didn't travel. But how much does this third championship game between them feel like y'all split those? You won the first one, they took the second. How much does this feel like a rubber match, though, that y'all could kind of make the difference?
Yeah, I think that, you know, when you play a team this good, a 14-0 team, you know, coming in that doesn't have a ton of weaknesses that pop out, you have to, you know, play your best to be able to beat a team like this. And, you know, they have the capacity to beat us every year. They did my freshman year, and they almost did the year before. So you have to play your best and you have to execute because they don't have a lot of weaknesses. You know, they're well coached, they have great players, and so we have to come out and whatever team executes better and wins more of the individual plays is going to be the one that wins the game.
What's so unique and challenging about their defensive line?
They have a lot of talent, and they play well. That's the biggest theme. I think when you look at this team, is there's plenty of teams with talent. There's plenty of teams that are coached well, but there's not a lot of both, and Clemson's definitely both. They have a lot of. They play well within their scheme, and so you don't see guys kind of out of gaps and either misaligned or just playing into the wrong gap or the wrong responsibility. They play really gap sound. And then obviously just the talent that they have, just really skilled guys that play on their D-line that pose a lot of challenges.
How cool was that onside kick a couple of years ago in the national championship game against them? The fact that not just that they tried it, but that it worked.
Yeah, that was crazy. We, me and all the early enrollees were in Bryant watching on TV, and we were just freaking out when that happened because that was such a momentum swing in the game. And that's the type of thing that this game takes. When you're playing great teams, sometimes you have to take risks, and when you do, you have to execute them. And sometimes that's kind of the difference maker in the game.
Saban's not known for gambles, but is he pretty calculated about that stuff? Does he do that sort of thing more than people think, or just more calculated than some coaches about him?
Yeah, he's greatest coach of all time, so he coaches the games the way that he should and the way that he should be able to win all these games. So we just trust him. If he thinks that it's a smart, calculated risk, then we just go with it.
As someone who watches college football, knowing that there are 130 FBS teams, are you surprised that it has come down to these two teams so often in recent history?
Not really surprised because, like I said, I think in football, if you have better players that are better coached, you're going to win game, and so I think at Alabama and Clemson and a couple other teams across the country, they kind of have that where, we recruit the best players and hire the best coaches, and, Coach Saban has every coach coaching at, the top of their game. So I wouldn't say I'm surprised by it just because that's kind of naturally what happens, it's not really a crapshoot when it comes down to what it takes to win. You just have to have the best players that are coached best, and I think both us and Clemson have that.
Talking to Jalen after the last game, he talked about how the package that has both him and Tua on the field at the same time, there's a lot more to it. Really y'all haven't even touched the surface of some of those. So what's that like when you at practice or in games when you hear that play call and okay, we're going to run a series where we got both those guys on the field?
I think that it poses a lot of challenges for a defense. That's one thing that we want to do is we feel that we have a lot of different guys that can attack you in a lot of different ways. And so if you just think of it as multiples, if you have one quarterback that can distribute to 5 guys, then that's that. But if you have 2 quarterbacks that can distribute to 4 guys, that's that many more. So I think that it just poses a lot more challenges and multiples for a defense to have to cover. And so it's exciting. I think that we try to make it so we can have as many different options out of that package as possible, so we're not like a lot of times when people do that, all they have is a double pass, and we have a ton of things that we can do out of it. So it's exciting to be a part of. There's just the defense is stressed out having to cover that many different combinations.
How different is this Clemson team compared to Oklahoma's defense?
Different scheme and different kind of style. I think that, you know, a lot of people were ragging on Oklahoma's defense just because of their statistics, and like I said, I think that it's not so much like their ability as a defense, it's just the style that they play, and their whole deal is that they just want to get 1 or 2 stops, and they believe that their offense is going to outscore you, you know, and so I think that that's kind of what they do. They don't try to, you know, necessarily just put a stake in the ground and say you won't pass it. They say we're going to stop you enough to win the game. Clemson's different, obviously. You know, they want to just stop you right there. We don't want to give you any points, you know, and so I mean it poses a lot of challenges. We know they're a great defense, and we know they have a lot of talent. So that's why we're getting to work today and, you know, installing their game plan.
The winner of this game will be the first 15-0 team in college football history. Has that entered your mind, and is that something that you guys have talked about?
Probably enter my mind if we win. I mean, it's right now, like I said over there, I think that 14-0 is cool and 15-0 is amazing, but 14-1 doesn't really matter. You know, like no one's going to remember that. So I think in however many days, 7, 8 days after the game, then, you know, we do what it takes to win. I think that we can sit back and be pretty proud of it. But for right now, we're just focused on actually getting to that point.
How big of a
All right,
weapon
thanks.
is